Hey there, everyone. Before we jump in, it's a fun idea if you tell us where you're from in the comments. Thanks. Remember to hit like and subscribe. Now let's get settled and begin. I remember the moment I proposed to Sarah like it was yesterday. We were at the beach, the sun setting behind us, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Her eyes sparkled when she said yes, and I felt like the luckiest man alive. This was supposed to be the beginning of our forever. But now, sitting alone in our apartment, I can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. Sarah and I have been together for 3 years. I'm a successful lawyer, known for my meticulous attention to detail. My career's on track, and I've always been confident, driven. But Sarah, she's the one thing in my life that I didn't plan. She's beautiful, charismatic, and unpredictable. Everything I didn't know I needed. She works in real estate, and she's damn good at it. We've had our share of passionate moments, the kind that can only come from a deep connection and a fair share of fiery conflict. Lately, though, there's been a shift. Sarah's been distant, distracted. I tried to ignore it, brushing it off as stress from work. But even Mark, my best friend, has noticed. He's always been my sounding board, the one person I could talk to about anything. But lately, even he's been acting strange, avoiding my calls and giving me vague excuses when I try to meet up. Everything seemed perfect until today. I'm sitting on the couch, scrolling through emails when my phone buzzes with a text message. I almost ignore it, thinking it's just another work notification. But something makes me look. It's an unknown number. I open the message and my heart stops. The image is clear as day. Sarah, my Sarah, locked in a passionate kiss with another man. Her arms are wrapped around him, their bodies pressed close, too close. The caption beneath the picture reads, "She's not yours alone." My world shatters. I stare at the screen, disbelief coursing through me. This can't be real. There's got to be some mistake. But the more I look, the more undeniable it becomes. That's Sarah, in the dress she wore last night when she said she was meeting clients. That's her smile, the one I thought was reserved for me. A cold wave of nausea washes over me as reality sets in. The love of my life, the woman I was going to marry, is cheating on me. I feel a mix of anger, betrayal, and something darker, an urge for revenge. But before anything else, I need to know the truth. How long has this been going on? Who is this guy? How could I have been so blind? I sit there, the image seared into my mind, questioning everything I thought I knew about Sarah. The life we were building together feels like a lie, and I'm left wondering if I ever really knew her at all. I'm still holding my phone, staring at the picture of Sarah with another man when she walks through the door. The sound of her keys dropping into the bowl by the entrance jolts me out of my daze. She's humming, completely oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. I don't even give her time to take off her shoes before I ask, "Who is he?" Sarah freezes, her eyes meeting mine. "What are you talking about?" she asks, her voice casual, but I can see the flicker of panic in her eyes. It's the way she says it, too smooth, too rehearsed. I push my phone toward her, the picture displayed on the screen. She stares at it, her face a mask of shock, but I'm not buying it. "Daniel, I can explain," she begins, reaching out to touch my arm. I pull away, the fury building inside me. I need answers. "How long, Sarah? How long have you been lying to me?" My voice is low, controlled, but inside I'm a mess. I need to know the truth, even though I'm not sure I can handle it. She looks down, her facade of innocence cracking. "A few months," she finally admits, her voice barely a whisper. "A few months," I repeat, my mind reeling. We've been planning our wedding, talking about our future, and all the while she's been with someone else. "Who is he?" "His name is Jason," she says, her voice trembling now. "He's a colleague. It started off as nothing, just casual, but then—" Her words trail off and I can see the guilt written all over her face. "And then what, Sarah? You just decided to keep both of us on a string? Was that the plan?" I'm pacing now, trying to make sense of it all, but none of it makes sense. She shakes her head, tears brimming in her eyes. No, it wasn't like that. I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't know how to end it. You didn't know how to end it? I laugh, but it's hollow, bitter. So you thought you'd just keep going until you got caught. How long were you planning to keep this up? I don't know, she whispers, and the tears spill over. She's crying now, but I can't find it in me to care. I feel numb like I'm watching this happen to someone else. What about him? Does he know, I ask, needing to know if I'm the only fool in this situation. She hesitates, and that tells me everything I need to know. No, she finally says. He doesn't know about you. I feel sick, disgusted with her, with myself, with everything. I love this woman, trusted her, and she's been lying to me for months. Why, Sarah? Why did you do this? She's sobbing now, her hands covering her face. I don't know, I was confused. I love you, Daniel, but things got complicated and I didn't know how to stop. I stare at her, the woman I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with, and all I see is a stranger. You love me? I repeat, my voice filled with disbelief. This is how you show it? She steps closer, trying to reach out to me, but I back away. Please, Daniel, let's talk about this. We can work it out. I shake my head. There's nothing to talk about. You've been lying to me for months, cheating on me, and now you want to talk? I never wanted to hurt you, she says, her voice breaking, but I can't take it anymore. I need to get out of here, away from her, and the lies and the betrayal. Without another word, I grab my coat and head for the door. Daniel, please don't go, she calls after me, but I don't stop. I need air, space to think, to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do now. I walk for hours, my mind racing with everything that's just happened. The anger, the pain, the confusion, it all blends together until I'm not sure what I'm feeling anymore. I end up at Mark's place, not knowing where else to go. He opens the door, surprised to see me. Daniel, what's going on? You look like hell. Can I come in? I ask, my voice flat, drained of emotion. Of course, he says, stepping aside to let me in. I collapse onto his couch, burying my face in my hands. What happened? He asks, concern lacing his voice. Sarah, I say, the word tasting bitter on my tongue. She's been cheating on me. Mark is silent for a moment, and when I look up, there's something in his eyes that I can't quite read. I'm sorry, man, he finally says, but there's a hesitation in his voice that makes me uneasy. Did you know? I ask, my voice sharp, cutting through the tension in the room. He doesn't answer right away, and that silence speaks volumes. Mark, did you know? I demand, my anger rising again. He sighs, running a hand through his hair. I didn't know for sure, but I had my suspicions. You had your suspicions? I repeat, the betrayal cutting even deeper. And you didn't tell me? I didn't want to believe it, he says, his voice filled with regret. I didn't want to hurt you. Well, mission accomplished, I snap, my anger flaring. I'm hurt, Mark. I'm beyond hurt. And you could have warned me. I'm sorry, he says again, but the words feel hollow, empty. I don't know if I can forgive him for this. Not now. I leave Mark's place not long after, feeling more lost than ever. I spend the next few days in a fog, barely functioning. I go through the motions at work, but my mind is elsewhere, replaying that conversation with Sarah over and over. I can't escape it, can't escape the image of her with Jason. I start digging, needing to know more. I track down Jason, find out where he works, where he lives. I even follow him a few times, trying to get a sense of who this guy is. He seems normal enough, successful, confident, the kind of guy who would catch Sarah's eye. But what does he have that I don't? I can't let it go, can't stop myself from obsessing over every detail. I need to understand how this happened, how I missed the signs. I replay every conversation, every argument, looking for clues, but nothing makes sense. I confront Sarah again, demanding more answers, but it's the same story. She was confused. She didn't mean for it to happen. She loves me. But how can I believe anything she says now? I start to notice things I hadn't before. The way she avoids eye contact when I ask her questions, the nervous way she fidgets with her ring when I press her for details. She's still hiding something, I can feel it, and I'm going to find out what it is. One night, after another argument that ends with her in tears and me storming out, I decide to dig deeper. I hack into her email, something I never thought I'd do, but I'm desperate. I need to know the truth, all of it. What I find shocks me. There are emails, dozens of them, between Sarah and Jason. They're not just talking about their affair, they're planning something big, something dangerous. There are mentions of money, lots of it, and talk of leaving the country. My heart races as I scroll through the messages, each one more damning than the last. This isn't just an affair. Sarah's involved in something much darker, something that could destroy us both. I print out the emails, needing tangible proof, something I can confront her with. But even as I gather the evidence, I feel a gnawing sense of dread. This is bigger than I thought, bigger than just the two of us. I confront Sarah the next morning, throwing the emails down in front of her. "What the hell is this?" I demand, my voice shaking with anger and fear. She pales when she sees the papers, her hands trembling as she picks them up. "Where did you get these?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. "That doesn't matter," I snap. "What matters is what the hell you're doing with this guy. You're planning to steal money? To run away?" "What the hell is going on, Sarah?" She's silent for a long time, staring at the papers in her hands. When she finally looks up at me, there's a coldness in her eyes that I've never seen before. "You shouldn't have found those, Daniel," she says, her voice flat, emotionless. "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" I ask, my fear growing. "It means you've just made things a lot more complicated," she says, her voice steady now, controlled. "She's not the woman I fell in love with, not even close. This is someone else, someone dangerous." I feel a chill run down my spine as I realize the depth of the situation I'm in. This isn't just about infidelity anymore. This is about survival. "Are you threatening me?" I ask, my voice low, controlled, but inside I'm panicking. She doesn't answer, just stares at me with those cold, unfeeling eyes. "You need to stay out of this, Daniel," she finally says, "for your own good." I shake my head, disbelief and anger warring inside me. "You think I'm just going to walk away from this? From you? You don't have a choice," she says, her voice icy. "This is bigger than you, bigger than us. You don't know what you're dealing with." I can't believe what I'm hearing. The woman I loved, the woman I was going to marry, is standing in front of me, telling me to walk away or else. But I can't. I won't. "I'm not going anywhere," I say, my voice firm. "I'm going to the cops with this." She laughs, a cold, harsh sound that sends another chill down my spine. "You think they'll believe you? You think you have enough to bring me down?" I falter for a moment, doubt creeping in. She's right. I don't have much. Just a few emails. A picture. It's not enough, not yet. "I'll find more," I say, but my voice lacks the conviction I want it to have. "Good luck with that," she says, her tone mocking. "But remember, Daniel, you're playing with fire. And if you get burned, it's your own damn fault." With that, she turns and walks out, leaving me standing there, shaken, angry, and more determined than ever. I'm in over my head, but I can't back down now. I have to see this through, no matter what it takes. Over the next few days, I dive deeper into Sarah's life, following her, watching her every move. I track down Jason, confront him, but he's just as clueless as I was. He didn't know about me, didn't know about the money, didn't know anything. He's just a pawn in Sarah's game, just like I was. But now that I'm digging, I'm finding more. Sarah's involved with some dangerous people. People who won't think twice about taking me out if I get in their way. I start getting messages, threats, warning me to back off. But I can't. Not now. I'm too deep in this. One night, I'm sitting in my car outside Sarah's place, watching her through the window. She's on the phone, her face tense, her gestures sharp. I can't hear what she's saying, but I know it's bad. I snap a few pictures, hoping to catch something useful. As I'm watching, my phone buzzes with a text. I glance at it, expecting another warning, but this one's different. It's a picture of me sitting in my car, taken from somewhere nearby. The message is simple. Stop digging or you'll regret it. A chill runs down my spine as I realize the full scope of what I'm up against. This isn't just about Sarah anymore. This is about something much bigger, something dangerous. And I'm caught right in the middle of it. I need to be smart, careful, but I also need to end this before it ends me. The game is on, and I'm all in. Double or nothing. I start gathering everything I can on Sarah. I need more than just those emails. Something concrete that will expose her. Every lie, every deceitful act, I document it all. My nights are spent in front of my laptop, going through her messages, photos, and any clues she's left behind. I even start following her, keeping my distance but close enough to observe. It's a dangerous game, but I have no choice. I need to know how deep this goes. During the day, I keep up appearances at work, but my mind is elsewhere. I'm on edge, every glance over my shoulder a reminder that I'm being watched. I know I'm playing with fire, but I can't back down. Not now. I've already lost too much. One evening, I decide it's time to confront Jason. If he's as much in the dark as I was, he deserves to know the truth. I arrange to meet him at a bar downtown, a neutral place where I can control the situation. I arrive early, choosing a secluded booth in the back where we won't be overheard. Jason arrives a few minutes late, looking every bit the part of the successful businessman, confident, polished, unaware of the storm about to hit him. He spots me and heads over, his expression curious. He has no idea what's coming. "Daniel, right?" he says, sliding into the booth across from me. "Sarah's fiancé?" I nod, keeping my face neutral. "That's right. And you're Jason, the other guy." He flinches slightly at my tone, but recovers quickly. "Look, I'm not sure what you're hoping to accomplish here, but Sarah told me you two were done." I laugh, a harsh, bitter sound. "Is that what she told you? Did she also tell you that she's been planning to rob you blind and skip the country?" His eyes widen, and for the first time, I see the doubt creeping in. "What are you talking about?" I reach into my bag and pull out the printed emails, sliding them across the table. "Read these, all of them." He hesitates, then picks up the papers, his expression shifting from confusion to shock as he reads. When he finally looks up, he's pale, his hands trembling. "This can't be true. She wouldn't do this." "She would, and she is," I say, my voice cold. "She's been playing both of us, using us. You think you're the only one? You're just another pawn in her game." Jason sits back, the reality of the situation sinking in. "Why are you telling me this?" he asks, his voice hollow. "Because I want her to pay," I say, leaning forward. "She's gotten away with this for too long, and it's time she faces the consequences. But I can't do it alone. I need your help." He looks at me, searching for something, maybe a hint of deception, but there's nothing left to hide. I'm as raw as he is, maybe even more so. After a long silence, he nods. "What do you need me to do?" Over the next few days, Jason and I start working together, pooling our resources. He's just as motivated as I am now, and together we're a force to be reckoned with. We dig deeper into Sarah's life, uncovering more of her secrets. It's like peeling back layers of an onion, each one revealing something more rotten underneath. But the more we uncover, the more dangerous it gets. I start noticing people following me, strange cars parked outside my apartment, unfamiliar faces in places they shouldn't be. Sarah knows we're onto her, and she's not going down without a fight. One night I'm in my apartment, going through the latest batch of information Jason dug up when there's a knock at the door. My heart skips a beat. I wasn't expecting anyone. I grab a knife from the kitchen, just in case, and approach the door slowly. "Who is it?" I call out, my voice steady despite the fear gnawing at my gut. "It's me." Sarah's voice comes from the other side, soft, almost pleading. I hesitate, then open the door slightly, keeping the chain on. She looks tired, disheveled, a far cry from the composed woman I used to know. "What do you want, Sarah?" "Can I come in?" she asks, her eyes darting around nervously. "We need to talk." I consider slamming the door in her face, but something about the way she's acting makes me pause. I unlatch the chain and step back, letting her in. She walks past me, her eyes scanning the room, taking in the mess of papers and notes scattered across the table. "You've been busy," she says, a weak attempt at humor. "What do you want, Sarah?" I ask again, closing the door behind her. She turns to face me, her expression serious. "We need to stop this, Daniel. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into." I raise an eyebrow, my anger flaring up again. "Stop what? Exposing you for the lying, cheating thief that you are?" She flinches, but then her face hardens. "You don't understand. This isn't just about you and me anymore. There are people involved, dangerous people, and if you keep digging, they'll come after you." "Let them," I say, my voice firm. "I'm not scared of them, and I'm sure as hell not scared of you." "You should be," she says, her voice dropping to a whisper. "You think you're in control, but you're not. They're watching you, every move you make. If you don't back off, they'll kill you." I step closer, the tension between us crackling like electricity. "Is that a threat?" "It's a warning," she says, her eyes locking onto mine. "You need to stop this before it's too late." For a moment, neither of us speaks. The air between us is thick with unspoken words. With all the things we've done to each other, I can feel the anger, the betrayal, but also something else, something darker and more primal. I reach out and grab her arm, pulling her close. "Why, Sarah? Why did you do this?" She doesn't pull away, doesn't fight me. Instead, she looks up at me, her eyes filled with something I can't quite place. "I didn't mean for it to get this far," she says, her voice trembling. "I was in too deep before I even realized what was happening. But now it's too late to turn back." I can feel her breath on my face, the warmth of her body so close to mine. The anger is still there, burning hot, but so is the desire, the need. I hate her, but I still want her, and it's tearing me apart. Without thinking, I pull her closer, our bodies colliding with a force that sends us both stumbling back. My mouth crashes down on hers, the kiss rough, desperate, a release of all the pent-up emotions we've been holding back. She responds instantly, her hands tangling in my hair, her nails digging into my scalp. We tumble onto the couch, a mess of limbs and clothing, the world around us forgotten. It's not about love anymore, or even revenge. It's about control, about taking back what was stolen from me. It's raw, primal, and it's exactly what we both need. Afterward, we lie there, tangled together, our breathing heavy. The reality of what just happened starts to sink in, but I can't bring myself to care. It's too late for regrets now. Sarah shifts beside me, her head resting on my chest. "What now?" she asks, her voice soft, vulnerable. I stare up at the ceiling, my mind racing. "Now, we finish this," I say, my voice cold, detached. "No more games, no more lies. We end it, once and for all." She nods against my chest, but I can feel the tension in her body, the fear. "And what if we don't make it out?" "Then we don't," I say, my voice flat. "But at least I'll take you down with me." She pulls away slightly, her eyes searching mine for something, maybe a hint of the man I used to be. But that man is gone, replaced by someone harder, someone who's been pushed too far. "Okay," she says finally, her voice barely a whisper. "Okay." Over the next few days, the tension between us reaches a breaking point. Every time we're in the same room, it's like a powder keg ready to explode. I can feel her watching me, waiting for the moment when I finally snap, but I keep my cool. I need to stay focused, to see this through. I dig deeper into her finances, her business dealings, everything. The more I find, the more I realize just how deep this goes. Sarah's been involved in shady deals for years, using her charm and connections to manipulate everyone around her. But it's not just about money, it's about power. She's been playing a dangerous game, and now it's caught up to her. One night, as I'm going through another batch of files, I find something that makes my blood run cold. A wire transfer, a large sum of money, sent to an offshore account. The account is under a fake name, but I recognize the number. It's Jason's business account. Sarah's been siphoning money from him, preparing to flee the country. But she's not planning to go alone. She's taking someone with her. I confront her the next morning, the tension between us finally boiling over. "You're planning to run, aren't you?" I say, throwing the documents down in front of her. "You're going to take the money and disappear." She stares at the papers, her face pale. "It's not what you think," she says, but I can hear the lie in her voice. "It's exactly what I think," I snap, my anger finally breaking free. "You were going to leave me here to deal with the fallout while you ran off with Jason? You think I'm that stupid?" "I wasn't going to leave you," she says, her voice trembling. "I was trying to protect you." "Protect me?" I laugh, the sound bitter. "You've done nothing but lie to me, manipulate me, and now you expect me to believe you were doing it for my sake?" Tears well up in her eyes, but I can't bring myself to care. I'm too far gone for that now. "I didn't want this," she says, her voice breaking. "I didn't want any of this. But I'm in too deep, Daniel. I can't get out." "There's always a way out," I say, my voice cold. "But you're not looking for one, are you? You're just trying to save yourself." She doesn't answer, and that tells me everything I need to know. She's still playing her game, still trying to manipulate me, but I'm done being her pawn. "We're done," I say, turning to leave. "I'm going to the cops, and I'm taking you down with me." She grabs my arm, desperation in her eyes. "Daniel, please, don't do this. You don't know what they'll do if you go to the police. They'll kill you." "Then so be it," I say, shaking her off. "I'd rather die fighting than live as your puppet." With that, I walk out, not looking back. I can hear her calling after me, but I don't stop. I'm done with her lies, done with her games. It's time to end this, one way or another. I head straight to the police, the evidence in hand. I know it's risky, that Sarah's connections might reach further than I realize, but I don't care. I'm ready to burn it all down if it means taking her with me. But as I sit in the interrogation room, laying out my case to the detective across from me, I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched, that Sarah's already one step ahead of me. The detective listens, taking notes, but there's a look in his eyes that makes me uneasy. When I finish, he leans back, his expression unreadable. "This is serious stuff, Daniel. If what you're saying is true, we're looking at a major case here." "It is true," I say, my voice firm. "Every word of it." He nods slowly, then stands up, motioning for me to follow. "I'm going to need you to stay here for a while. We're going to look into this, but it might take some time." I follow him down the hallway, the unease growing in my gut. Something feels off, but I can't put my finger on it. As we reach the holding room, he opens the door and gestures for me to enter. I step inside, the door closing behind me with a heavy thud. And then it hits me. The room is too quiet, too isolated. I turn back to the door, but it's already locked. Panic sets in as I realize I've walked right into a trap. I hear footsteps approaching, slow, deliberate. The door opens and in walks Sarah, flanked by two men I don't recognize. They're big, imposing, and I know instantly that they're not cops. "Hello, Daniel," Sarah says, her voice cold, detached. "I warned you not to dig too deep." The men move closer, blocking any chance of escape. I'm trapped, and I know it, but I won't go down without a fight. "This is over, Sarah," I say, my voice steady despite the fear gnawing at me. "You can't keep running." She smiles, a cold, cruel smile that sends a shiver down my spine. "Oh, Daniel," she says, shaking her head. "This is just the beginning." Before I can react, the men grab me, forcing me to the ground. I struggle, but it's no use. I'm outnumbered, overpowered. As they drag me out of the room, I realize too late that I've underestimated her. Underestimated just how far she's willing to go. The last thing I see is Sarah's face, calm, unbothered, as she watches me being taken away. The game isn't over yet, but this time I'm the one who's been played. I wake up on a cold concrete floor, my head pounding, vision blurry. I don't know how long I've been out, but it feels like hours. The room is dark, the only light coming from a small window high above. My hands are tied behind my back, the rope digging into my wrists. Panic sets in as I realize where I am. Sarah's trap worked. I struggle to get free, twisting my wrists, trying to loosen the ropes. The pain is sharp, but I keep at it, knowing that if I don't get out of here, I'm as good as dead. My mind races, trying to piece together what happened. The last thing I remember is being dragged out of that room, Sarah's cold eyes watching me. Now I'm here, wherever here is. The door creaks open, and I freeze, my heart pounding. A man steps inside, his silhouette outlined against the light from the hallway. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and his presence fills the room with a sense of menace. He doesn't speak, just stands there, watching me with cold, calculating eyes. "Who the hell are you?" I demand, my voice rough, defiant despite the fear clawing at my insides. He doesn't answer, just steps closer, his boots echoing against the concrete. He kneels down, grabbing me by the hair, forcing me to look up at him. His grip is like iron, and I grit my teeth against the pain. "You've been a very bad boy, Daniel," he says, his voice low and menacing. "Sarah warned you, but you didn't listen." I glare at him, anger flaring despite my fear. "What do you want from me?" He chuckles, a sound that sends a shiver down my spine. "It's not about what I want. It's about what you've done. You've made things very complicated for some very powerful people." "Powerful people?" I spit, struggling against his grip. "I don't give a damn about your powerful people. Let me go or I'll—" He cuts me off with a sharp yank on my hair, forcing my head back. "You're in no position to make threats, Daniel. You should have stayed out of this. But now it's too late." He lets go of my hair, shoving me back onto the floor. I land hard, pain shooting through my body, but I refuse to let him see my fear. I know I'm in deep, but I won't give him the satisfaction of breaking me. He stands up, looking down at me like I'm nothing. "You're going to tell us everything you know, and if you're lucky, we might let you walk out of here alive." I stare up at him, defiant. "And if I don't?" He smiles, but it's not a smile that reaches his eyes. "Then we'll make sure you wish you had." He turns and walks out, the door slamming shut behind him, leaving me alone in the darkness. I lie there, my mind racing, trying to come up with a plan. I can't let them break me, can't let them win. I need to find a way out, but first I need to survive. Hours pass, maybe days. I lose track of time in the darkness. They come for me again, dragging me to another room, this one lit by a single harsh bulb hanging from the ceiling. I'm forced into a chair, my hands still tied, and they start asking questions. It's a blur of pain and threats, but I hold on, refusing to give them what they want. I won't let them use me against Sarah, even if she's the one who put me here. There's a part of me that still believes I can beat her, that I can turn this around. But with every punch, every threat, that belief starts to crumble. They ask about the evidence I have, about what I know, who I've told. I give them nothing, just stubborn silence, even when the pain becomes unbearable. I know I'm playing a dangerous game, but it's the only one I have left. Eventually, they leave me alone again, bloodied and broken, but still alive. I lie there, gasping for breath, my body screaming in pain. I'm not sure how much longer I can hold out, but I know I have to keep fighting. I can't let them win, not after everything I've been through. Time blurs together, and I drift in and out of consciousness. I'm not sure how long it's been when I hear footsteps again, softer this time, almost hesitant. The door creaks open, and I force myself to look up, expecting another round of torture. But it's not the men who tortured me, it's Sarah. She steps into the room, her eyes wide with shock as she takes in the sight of me, bruised and bleeding on the floor. For a moment, there's something almost like regret in her eyes, but it's gone as quickly as it appeared. "Daniel," she says, her voice soft, almost pleading, "why didn't you just listen?" I laugh, a harsh, broken sound. "Listen to what? Your lies? Your manipulations?" She flinches, but she doesn't deny it. "You don't understand. I never wanted this. I tried to protect you." "Protect me?" I spit, anger flaring. "You set me up, Sarah. You put me here. You did this." She shakes her head, tears brimming in her eyes. I didn't have a choice. They made me do it. If I didn't, they would have killed us both. Us? I sneer, struggling to sit up. There's no us, Sarah. Not anymore. She steps closer, her expression pained. You don't get it, do you? This was never about you or me. This was about survival. I did what I had to do to stay alive. And what about me? I ask, my voice raw. Did you even care what happened to me? She looks away, unable to meet my eyes. I'm sorry, Daniel. I really am. Sorry? I laugh again, the sound bitter and hollow. You think sorry's enough? She doesn't answer, just stands there, her shoulders slumped in defeat. For a moment, I see the woman I fell in love with, the woman I thought I knew. But that woman is gone, replaced by someone who will do anything to survive, no matter the cost. Why are you here, Sarah? I ask, my voice tired. What do you want from me? She hesitates, then steps closer, her voice barely above a whisper. I need your help. I stare at her, disbelief washing over me. You need my help? After everything you've done, you expect me to help you? They're going to kill me, Daniel, she says, her voice trembling. They think I'm a liability. You're the only one who can stop them. I shake my head, exhaustion and anger mixing together in a dangerous cocktail. Why should I care? You brought this on yourself. Because if you don't, they'll come after you next, she says, desperation creeping into her voice. You're not safe, Daniel. Not anymore. I want to tell her to go to hell, to leave me to die if that's what it comes to, but deep down, I know she's right. If I don't do something, if I don't find a way to stop them, they'll kill us both. And despite everything, despite the betrayal and the lies, I'm not ready to die. What's the plan? I ask, my voice flat. She looks at me, relief flooding her eyes. I have a way out, a way to take them down. But I can't do it alone. I laugh again, but there's no humor in it. Of course you can't. She flinches but doesn't argue. Please, Daniel, help me. It's our only chance. I stare at her, my mind racing. I know I shouldn't trust her and that this could be another trap, but I'm out of options. I need to get out of here, and she's my only chance. Fine, I say finally, but if you screw me over again, I'll make sure you pay for it. She nods, a look of determination crossing her face. I won't, I promise. I want to believe her, but I've been burned too many times. Still, I don't have much of a choice. I need to survive, and if that means working with the woman who betrayed me, then so be it. Sarah helps me to my feet, her touch surprisingly gentle. I lean on her for support as we make our way out of the room, my body aching with every step. The hallway is empty, the men who tortured me nowhere to be seen. I don't know where they are, but I know they won't be gone for long. We move quickly, Sarah leading the way through a maze of corridors. I don't ask where we're going, just focus on putting one foot in front of the other. My mind is still spinning from everything that's happened, but I push it aside, focusing on survival. Finally, we reach a door at the end of the hallway. Sarah pauses, glancing back at me. This is it. Are you ready? I nod, though I'm not sure I am, but I don't have a choice. We step through the door into a dimly lit garage. There's a car waiting, the engine running. Sarah helps me into the passenger seat, then slips behind the wheel. As we drive away, the tension in the car is palpable. I don't trust her, but I need her, and I know she doesn't trust me either. We're both playing a dangerous game, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The silence stretches between us, heavy with unspoken words. Finally, I break it. Where are we going? Somewhere safe, she says, her voice tight. I don't believe her, but I keep my mouth shut. I'm too exhausted to argue, too drained to care. All I know is that I need to get out of this alive, and if that means playing along with her, then that's what I'll do. As we drive, the city lights blur past, a neon haze that feels almost surreal. My mind drifts, thinking about everything that's happened, everything I've lost. I don't know if I'll ever get my old life back, if I'll ever be able to trust anyone again, but I do know one thing. I'm not going down without a fight. Sarah pulls into a secluded parking garage, the kind that's empty at this time of night. She parks the car, turning off the engine, and we sit there in silence for a moment. This is it, she says finally. The next step. Are you with me? I look at her, the woman who betrayed me, who lied and manipulated her way into my life. And I know that I can't trust her, not completely, but I also know that I need her if I'm going to survive this. I'm with you, I say, my voice steady. But if you cross me again, it's over. Understand? She nods, her eyes filled with something that might be sincerity. I understand. We step out of the car and I follow her into the darkness, knowing that this is only the beginning of what's to come. The game isn't over, not by a long shot. And I'm ready to play it to the end, no matter the cost. I sit across from the detective, the weight of everything that's happened pressing down on me. It's been hours since I handed over all the evidence, emails, bank statements, recordings. My entire life unraveled in front of this man, and now I'm just waiting, hoping it's enough to bring Sarah down. He flips through the papers slowly, methodically, and I can tell he's taking this seriously, but the tension in my chest doesn't ease. You've put together quite the case, he says finally, looking up at me. But it's not just Sarah, is it? There's more going on here. I nod, leaning forward, trying to convey the urgency. It's bigger than just her. She's connected to something darker, something dangerous. I don't have all the details, but I know they're planning something big, and they won't hesitate to kill to protect it. He frowns, considering my words. We'll need to move carefully. If what you're saying is true, we're dealing with people who have the resources to make this go away. But if we act too soon, we risk tipping them off. So what's the plan? I ask, trying to keep the desperation out of my voice. He sighs, leaning back in his chair. We need more time. We'll put Sarah under surveillance, gather more evidence, but we can't make a move until we're sure we have enough to take them all down. Until then, you need to lay low. Keep your head down. We don't want them knowing you're working with us. I nod, but the thought of waiting, of doing nothing, gnaws at me. And what about Sarah? She knows I'm on to her. She won't just sit back and let this happen. We'll keep an eye on her, he assures me. But for now, you need to go home. Get some rest. We'll be in touch. I leave the station, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on me. The detective's words play over and over in my head. Lay low. Keep your head down. But how can I? Knowing what I know, knowing what Sarah's capable of. Every instinct in me screams to keep fighting, to keep digging, but I force myself to follow his advice. I've done everything I can for now. The drive home is a blur, my mind racing with thoughts of what could go wrong. What if Sarah finds out I've been to the police? What if she tries to flee? Or worse, what if she comes after me? I can't shake the feeling that something terrible is about to happen, that I've set things in motion that I can't control. When I finally get home, I collapse onto the couch, exhaustion hitting me like a freight train. But sleep doesn't come. My mind is too busy, too filled with everything that's happened. I keep replaying my last conversation with Sarah. The look in her eyes when she realized I wasn't going to back down. There was fear there, but also something else. Something I can't quite place. Regret? Maybe. But I can't trust her anymore. Not after everything she's done. I'm just starting to drift off when there's a knock at the door. My heart leaps into my throat and I'm instantly wide awake, fear surging through me. I grab the nearest thing I can use as a weapon, a heavy lamp, and approach the door slowly. Who is it? I call out, my voice shaky despite my best efforts to stay calm. It's Mark, comes the reply, and the tension in my chest eases slightly. I open the door to find him standing there, looking as exhausted as I feel. I heard you went to the cops, he says as he steps inside, his voice low. How'd it go? I close the door behind him, setting the lamp back down. They're going to keep an eye on her, but they need more time. They told me to lay low, but I'm not sure that's the right call. Mark nods, sinking onto the couch. It's hard, but they're right. You've done your part. Now you have to let them handle it. I pace the room, the anxiety in me bubbling up. I just can't shake the feeling that something's going to go wrong, That she's going to slip away or worse, that she's going to come after me. Mark looks up at me, his expression serious. She won't get away with this, Daniel. You have to trust that. But trust is hard to come by these days. I sit down across from him, running a hand through my hair. And what if she does? What if I've just made things worse? He reaches out, gripping my shoulder. We'll deal with that if it happens. But you can't keep driving yourself crazy over what ifs. You've done everything you can. Now it's time to let the professionals take over. I know he's right, but it doesn't make it any easier. We sit in silence for a while, the weight of everything hanging over us. I feel like I'm teetering on the edge, and one wrong move could send everything crashing down. Finally, Mark stands up, giving my shoulder a reassuring squeeze. Get some rest, Daniel. You need it. I nod, though I doubt sleep will come any easier now. He leaves, and I'm alone again, the silence in the apartment deafening. I try to distract myself, turning on the TV, but nothing holds my attention. My mind keeps drifting back to Sarah, to the look in her eyes, to the possibility that she's already planning her next move. The days that follow are a blur of restless nights and anxiety-ridden days. I check in with the detective regularly, but there's never any news, never any sign that they're ready to make a move. I'm caught in limbo, unable to do anything but wait. Then one morning, everything changes. I'm in the kitchen staring blankly at a cup of coffee when my phone buzzes. It's a text from an unknown number. My heart skips a beat as I open it. Thought you could use a reminder. You're not as smart as you think. Attached is a photo. It's of me, taken through my apartment window, clearly from across the street. I'm standing in the kitchen exactly where I am now, and the realization that someone is watching me right this moment sends a jolt of fear through me. I drop the phone, rushing to the window, but there's no sign of anyone outside. My heart races, panic clawing at my insides. This is it. They've found me. I grab the phone again, my hands shaking as I dial the detective's number. It rings once, twice, and then goes to voicemail. I leave a frantic message, telling him about the photo, about the text. I hang up and start pacing the apartment, my mind racing. If they know where I am, I'm not safe here. But where can I go? I don't have anywhere to run. My only option is to wait, to hope the police get here before whoever is watching me makes their move. But as the minutes tick by, there's no sign of the cops. I try calling again, but it goes straight to voicemail. I leave another message, my voice shaking, telling them to hurry. I start packing a bag, throwing in clothes, my laptop, anything I might need. I need to get out of here, to get somewhere safe. But where? Before I can decide, there's a knock at the door. My heart leaps into my throat and I freeze, the bag slipping from my hands. Another knock, louder this time. Daniel, it's me, comes Sarah's voice muffled through the door. Panic surges through me. How did she find me? I grab the lamp again, clutching it tightly as I approach the door. What do you want? I shout, trying to keep the fear out of my voice. I just want to talk, she says, her tone surprisingly calm. Please let me in. We don't have much time. Why should I trust you? I demand, my heart pounding in my chest. You shouldn't, she admits, her voice softening. But if you don't let me in, we're both dead. They're coming for us, Daniel. I can help you, but you have to let me in. I hesitate, the fear and the anger warring inside me. Every instinct screams to keep her out, to protect myself, but something in her voice makes me pause. Desperation? Sincerity? I can't tell. Against my better judgment, I slowly unlock the door, opening it just a crack. She slips inside quickly, shutting the door behind her, her eyes scanning the room like she's expecting an ambush. What are you doing here? I ask, my voice tight with tension. They know you went to the cops, she says, her tone urgent. They know everything. They're coming for you. And if they find you here, you're dead. Who's coming? I demand, my grip on the lamp tightening. The people I work for, she says, her eyes locking onto mine. They're not going to let you ruin everything. You have to come with me now. Why should I believe you? I ask, anger flaring up again. After everything you've done, why should I trust anything you say? She steps closer, her expression desperate. Because I'm your only chance. I know you don't trust me, but if you stay here, you'll die. I can get you out, but we have to go now. I stare at her, trying to decide if this is another one of her games, another manipulation. But the fear in her eyes, the urgency in her voice, it all feels too real. I'm out of options and I know it. Fine, I say finally, dropping the lamp. But if you're lying, if this is another setup, it's not, she cuts in, her voice firm. I swear, Daniel, I'm trying to save your life. I don't have time to think, to second guess my decision. I grab my bag and we head out the door, moving quickly, quietly. The hallway is empty, but I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched, that every step we take is leading us closer to danger. We make it to the car without incident, and I throw my bag in the back seat, slipping into the passenger side. Sarah gets behind the wheel, her hands shaking slightly as she starts the engine. Where are we going? I ask, trying to keep the panic out of my voice. Somewhere they won't find us, she says, her voice tight. We drive in silence, the tension in the car thick enough to cut with a knife. I keep glancing over at her, trying to read her expression, but she's focused, determined. Whatever's going on, she's scared, and that scares me more than anything. Finally, after what feels like hours, we pull into a secluded parking lot, surrounded by trees. She kills the engine, turning to face me. This is it, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. This is where we make our stand. I look around, confusion and fear gnawing at me. What do you mean? She takes a deep breath, her eyes locking onto mine. I have a plan, but it's dangerous, and there's a good chance we won't make it out alive. I stare at her, my heart pounding in my chest. What kind of plan? She explains quickly, laying out the details, and my blood runs cold. It's risky, reckless even, but it's our only shot. If we can pull it off, we might just survive. But if we fail, I take a deep breath, steeling myself for what's to come. Let's do it. She nods, a determined look in her eyes. Whatever happens, Daniel, I'm sorry. For everything. I don't respond. There's nothing left to say. We get out of the car, moving quickly, quietly, the night closing in around us. As we approach the building, my heart races, the fear nearly overwhelming. But I push it down, focusing on the task at hand. We have one chance, one shot at getting out of this alive, and I'm not going to waste it. We make our way inside, the darkness pressing in on all sides. Sarah leads the way, her movements quick and sure, and I follow, my nerves on edge. Every sound, every shadow feels like a threat, but I force myself to stay calm, to stay focused. Finally, we reach the control room, the heart of their operation. Sarah takes out the guard quickly, efficiently, and I can't help but marvel at how much I didn't know about her. She's not the woman I thought she was, but right now, that doesn't matter. We're in this together, for better or worse. She gets to work on the computer, her fingers flying over the keyboard as she sets the plan in motion. I keep watch, my heart pounding in my chest. Any minute now, they'll realize what we're doing, and then all hell will break loose. Almost there, she whispers, her voice tense. I nod, gripping the gun she gave me, my knuckles white. I'm not a killer, but if it comes down to it, I'll do what I have to. Finally, she hits the last key, and the screen lights up, confirming the success of the hack. We did it, she says, her voice filled with disbelief. But there's no time to celebrate. The alarm goes off, and I know we're out of time. Let's go, I shout, grabbing her arm and pulling her towards the exit. We run through the corridors, the sound of footsteps and shouts echoing behind us. They're close, too close, but we keep going, pushing ourselves to the limit. Just as we reach the exit, a figure steps out in front of us, blocking our path. It's the man from the warehouse, the one who tortured me, and he's not alone. I raise the gun, my hands shaking, but before I can pull the trigger, he's on me, knocking the weapon from my hand and slamming me into the wall. Sarah screams, but I can't get to her, can't help her. The man's hands are around my throat, cutting off my air, and I know I'm seconds away from blacking out. But then a gunshot rings out, and the man slumps to the ground, his grip loosening. I gasp for air, my vision clearing just in time to see Sarah standing over him, the gun in her hand, her face pale. "Come on," she says, grabbing my arm and pulling me toward the door. We burst outside, the cool night air hitting us like a shock. We don't stop, don't look back, just keep running. The sound of sirens in the distance our only hope. As we reach the car, I collapse against the door, my chest heaving, my mind spinning. We made it. We're alive. Sarah gets behind the wheel, and we drive off into the night, the sound of sirens fading behind us. We did it. We survived. But as we drive away, the reality of what just happened sinks in. The danger isn't over, not by a long shot, but for now we're alive, and that's all that matters. The days after Sarah's arrest are a blur. The police come in waves asking the same questions, combing through the evidence I provided. They promise justice, but I can't shake the feeling that something is still lurking in the shadows, just out of sight. Every time I close my eyes, I see her face, not the manipulative woman who betrayed me, but the one I fell in love with, the one I thought I knew. I return to my apartment, the place that once felt like home, now tainted by everything that's happened. I can't stay there for long. The walls feel like they're closing in, the memories too fresh, too raw. Mark checks in on me regularly, but even he's not sure what to say anymore. We both know there's no easy way out of this mess. One morning, as I'm trying to piece my life back together, a letter arrives. No return address, just my name scrawled in Sarah's familiar handwriting. My hands tremble as I tear it open, bracing myself for whatever she has to say. "Daniel, if you're reading this, it means I've failed. I'm not asking for forgiveness because I know I don't deserve it. But I need you to understand why I did what I did. I was never who you thought I was. The woman you loved, the woman you proposed to, she was a lie. A mask I wore to survive in a world that doesn't forgive weakness. The things I've done, the people I've hurt, I did it all because I was scared. Scared of being powerless, scared of being used just like I've used others. I never wanted to hurt you, Daniel. You were the only real thing in my life, the only person who made me believe I could be something more than just a survivor. But the world I come from, it doesn't allow for second chances. Once you're in for life. There's more to this than you know, more than I could ever tell you. And now that you're involved, you're not safe. Even with me gone, they'll come for you. You need to be careful, Daniel. Trust no one. Not even the people who say they're on your side, especially them. I wish I could have been the person you thought I was. I wish I could have loved you the way you deserved. But I'm not that woman, and I never was. All I can do now is warn you. They're coming, Daniel, and they won't stop until they have what they want. I'm sorry for everything. Sarah. I read the letter over and over, trying to make sense of it. There's nothing specific, no names, no details, just vague warnings and apologies. But the fear in her words is real, and it leaves a pit in my stomach. She's not just trying to scare me, she's trying to save me in her own twisted way. But save me from what? Or who? I take the letter to the police, but they don't seem to take it as seriously as I do. They've got Sarah in custody, and as far as they're concerned, the case is closed. But I can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. Not by a long shot. The more I think about it, the more I realize I need to know the truth. Not just about Sarah, but about everything she was involved in. If there's something coming for me, I need to be prepared. I can't just sit here and wait for it to find me. I start digging again, going back over everything I know about Sarah, about her connections, her deals. I hack into her emails, her accounts, trying to find something, anything that could give me a lead. But it's like chasing shadows. Every time I think I'm onto something, it slips through my fingers. The nights are the worst. I lie awake, the darkness pressing in, my mind racing with all the things I don't know. The paranoia creeps in, making me jump at every sound, every unexpected knock at the door. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And then it does. It's late, and I'm in my apartment, the only light coming from the computer screen in front of me. I'm scrolling through Sarah's emails for the 100th time when I hear it. A soft knock at the door. My heart leaps into my throat. I'm not expecting anyone. I grab the gun I've started keeping close, my hands shaking as I approach the door. "Who is it?" I call out, my voice barely steady. Silence. I don't move, my breath caught in my chest. Then another knock, this one more insistent. I glance through the peephole, but it's too dark to see anything clearly. My mind races, weighing my options. I can't just ignore it, but I can't open the door either. "Daniel, it's me." The voice is familiar. Too familiar. I hesitate, my mind struggling to process what I'm hearing. It can't be. It's impossible. "Sarah," I whisper, my hand tightening on the gun. "Please, just open the door. We don't have much time." My heart pounds in my chest, my mind spinning. This has to be a trick. She's in custody. There's no way she could be here. But the voice, it's her voice. I know it like I know my own. Against every instinct, I unlock the door and open it just a crack. And there she is, standing in the dim light of the hallway, looking like she's been through hell. Her hair is disheveled, her clothes torn, and there's a wildness in her eyes that I've never seen before. "Sarah," I say, disbelief coloring my voice. She pushes the door open, slipping inside before I can react. She's on me in an instant, her hands gripping my arms, her eyes wide with fear. "Daniel, they're coming. We have to go now." I pull back, trying to make sense of what's happening. "How are you here? I thought—" "There's no time to explain," she cuts in, her voice frantic. "They're coming for both of us. If we don't leave now, we're dead." My mind races, but nothing makes sense. "Who's coming?" "What are you talking about?" "The people I was working for," she says, her voice trembling. "They don't leave loose ends, Daniel. I managed to escape, but they won't stop until we're both dead." I shake my head, trying to clear the fog of confusion. "But the police, they can't help us," she snaps. "Don't you get it? This goes higher than the cops, higher than anything you can imagine. We have to disappear." I look into her eyes, searching for the truth, but all I see is fear. Real, palpable fear, and it terrifies me. I should walk away. I should turn her in, let the police deal with whatever this is. But something in me won't let go, won't let her go. "Where do we go?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. "Somewhere they can't find us," she says, her grip tightening on my arms. "But we have to go now." Every instinct screams at me to run, to leave her behind and save myself. But I can't. Not after everything. Not after what we've been through. Against my better judgment, I nod. "Okay," I say, my voice steadying. "Let's go." She releases me and we move quickly, gathering what we can. I grab the essentials, my mind still reeling, but I push it aside, focusing on the task at hand. We have to move fast. If what she says is true, every second counts. We leave the apartment, slipping into the night like fugitives. Sarah leads the way, her movements quick and sure, like she's done this before. I follow, my heart pounding in my chest, my mind a whirl of fear and uncertainty. As we drive away, the city lights fading behind us, I can't shake the feeling that this is only the beginning. That we're running from something far bigger, far darker than I ever imagined. And as the miles stretch out ahead of us, I realize that I'm in deeper than I ever thought possible. Sarah's voice echoes in my mind, a constant reminder of the danger we're in. They don't leave loose ends. I glance over at her, the woman who once held my heart, now a stranger, yet the only person I can trust. We're in this together for better or worse, and I know deep down that there's no turning back. Not now, not ever. I sit alone in my apartment, the walls closing in on me as the reality of everything that's happened sinks in. The police have done their part. The evidence is in their hands, and Sarah is facing the consequences of her actions. But the victory feels hollow, like a Pyrrhic victory where the cost far outweighs the gain. I've won, but at what price? Sarah's letter haunts me. Her words are like a ghost that refuses to be laid to rest. I can't shake the feeling that there's more to her story, something deeper that I never understood. The police dismissed her warnings as the desperate lies of a manipulator, but I know her better than that. Or at least, I think I do. The line between what was real and what was just part of her act has blurred so much that I can't tell the difference anymore. I start to dig again, not because I want to, but because I need to. The need to understand, to find closure, drives me. I can't move on until I know the truth, all of it. I go back to the emails, the bank statements, every scrap of evidence I collected. But this time, I'm not looking for ways to bring her down. I'm looking for answers. It doesn't take long to find them. Buried deep in the files, hidden behind layers of encryption, I find something that makes my blood run cold. A series of transactions, payments to offshore accounts linked to names I don't recognize. The amounts are staggering, far more than I ever imagined Sarah could be involved in. But it's not the money that scares me. It's what it represents. Power, influence, a network that reaches far beyond anything I'd considered. These aren't just criminals. There's something much worse. And Sarah was right in the middle of it. I follow the trail as far as I can, piecing together the fragments of her life that she kept hidden from me. The more I learn, the clearer it becomes that she was caught in something much bigger than I realized. She wasn't just playing me and Jason. She was playing for her life. The lies, the manipulation, it was all part of her survival strategy. And now I'm starting to wonder if I've made a terrible mistake. The weight of what I've uncovered presses down on me, but there's no going back now. I have to see this through, to understand it all. I contact the detective, but he's dismissive, telling me that the case is closed, that I should move on. But I can't. Not when I know what's really at stake. I start to feel the pressure closing in, the same pressure that must have driven Sarah to do what she did. The paranoia, the fear that every shadow hides a threat, every knock at the door could be the end. I'm in too deep, and there's no way out but forward. Then one evening, as I'm sitting in the dark, my phone rings. The number is unfamiliar, but something about it makes my heart skip a beat. I answer, and the voice on the other end sends a chill down my spine. "Daniel," the voice says, smooth, controlled, dangerous. "We need to talk." "Who is this?" I demand, my voice shaking despite my attempt to stay calm. "You know who I am," the voice replies, and I do. It's one of the names linked to those offshore accounts. One of the people Sarah was tied to. The ones she warned me about. "What do you want?" I ask, trying to keep the fear out of my voice. "Just a conversation," the voice says, almost casually. "You've been asking questions, digging where you shouldn't. That's not a good idea, Daniel." I swallow hard, my mind racing. "I want to know the truth." "And you will," the voice replies, "but not over the phone. Meet me. Tomorrow. I'll send the details." The line goes dead before I can respond, and I'm left sitting there, the phone clutched in my hand, my mind spinning. I should go to the police, tell them what's happening, but I know they won't take me seriously. They think it's over, that Sarah's arrest closed the book on this nightmare. But I know better. This is just the beginning. The next day, I follow the instructions sent to me. The location is a nondescript cafe on the outskirts of town, the kind of place where no one would notice if you disappeared. I arrive early, my nerves frayed, my mind on high alert. I sit at a table in the back, my eyes on the door, watching every person who comes in. Finally, a man walks in, his presence commanding, his gaze sharp as it sweeps the room. He spots me and makes his way over, sitting down across from me without a word. "You're Daniel," he says, more of a statement than a question. I nod, my throat dry. "And you're the one Sarah was working with." He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. "You could say that. Sarah was useful, but she made mistakes, big mistakes. And now she's paying for them," I say, my voice tight. He leans back, studying me. "She was always going to pay. The only question was how much. But she's not the only one who's made mistakes, Daniel. You've made some too." I tense, my hands gripping the edge of the table. "I'm not afraid of you." "You should be," he replies calmly. "But fear isn't why we're here. We're here because you've proven to be a problem. A problem we're willing to solve if you don't get in the way. I just want to understand, I say, my voice shaking slightly. What was Sarah really involved in? He studies me for a long moment, as if weighing how much to tell me. Sarah was part of something much bigger than you or I. A network that operates on a global scale, with interests that you can't even begin to comprehend. She was useful until she wasn't, and now she's a liability. As are you. Why not just kill me, I ask, trying to sound braver than I feel. Because killing you would draw attention, he says, his tone matter of fact. Attention we don't need. But make no mistake, if you keep digging, if you keep pushing, we won't hesitate. I swallow hard, the reality of my situation crashing down on me. What do you want from me? Simple, he says, leaning forward. You forget about all of this. You go back to your life, pretend none of this ever happened, and in return, we'll let you live. It's a fair trade, don't you think? I stare at him, my mind reeling. I've spent months tearing my life apart, chasing the truth, and now I'm being told to walk away, to forget it all. But can I? Can I really just turn my back on everything? What if I don't, I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. His smile returns, cold and predatory. Then you'll end up just like Sarah. And trust me, Daniel, no one will ever find you. I sit there, the weight of his words pressing down on me, suffocating. I've come so far, lost so much, and now I'm being asked to give it all up. But what choice do I have? I can't fight this, not alone. Finally, I nod, my heart heavy. Fine, I'll stop. Good, he says, standing up. It's the smart choice, Daniel. Live your life. Forget about Sarah. It's over. He turns and walks away, leaving me sitting there. The enormity of what just happened sinking in. It's over. But is it really? I return home, the apartment feeling emptier than ever. I should feel relieved, but all I feel is numb. I've survived, but at what cost? The truth is out there, just beyond my reach, but I can't touch it. Not without losing everything. Days turn into weeks, and life slowly returns to some semblance of normalcy. But the scars remain, the memories of what I've been through haunting me. I try to move on, to put it all behind me, but Sarah's voice lingers in my mind, a constant reminder of the darkness I've glimpsed. Then one night, as I'm sitting alone, my phone rings. The number is unknown, but I know who it is before I answer. Daniel, the voice says, smooth and familiar. I'm just checking in. I hope you're doing well. I'm fine, I say, my voice tight. Good. Remember our agreement, Daniel. Don't make us revisit it. The line goes dead, and I'm left staring at the phone, the weight of the conversation settling over me. They're still watching, still waiting, and I know deep down that this isn't over. It may never be over. As I look out the window, the city lights twinkling in the distance, I realize that my journey isn't finished. I've survived, but I'm not the same man I was. I'm scarred, changed, but I'm still standing. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. For now.